Hello everybody. So we continue here on the chapter about mortality, and the topic now it's about future course of mortality. So we'll go all the way to slide 129 to start this topic. And so here the idea is to talk a little bit about ideas of how we think the mortality rates and mortality patterns will continue in the next years, and also think about some special and interesting topics for research. So a major question is it likely that mortality rates will continue to fall, resulting in even higher levels of life expectancy than those attained by the developed countries? And there are two positions about that, pretty much like two groups of demographers, researchers that try to answer this question. And one group argues that there is a biological limit on how much we can survive, and then there would be a limit on the life expectancy for the next years. And this other group argues against a limit. They pretty much says that there is no fixed biological maximum life expectancy for human beings. And that's the position that the author of the textbook is related to. So he agrees with this argument here. So this is a more optimistic view in which they think that there is no fixed biological maximum for life expectancy. So we are talking about the future, how we can continue to improve in terms of mortality. So mortality decline and life expectancy increasing. Another topic of research in terms of mortality has been related to the issues that in some cases, some countries, actually mortality has been increasing in some portions of the world. So modern medical and public health techniques will surely bring about further reductions in mortality from the major causes that we have today in the countries. But there is evidence since the early 80s of mortality reversals. In other words, increasing mortality in certain portions of the world. One of them is Eastern Europe, and the other one Sub-Saharan African countries. So let's just talk a little bit about each one of them. In Eastern Europe, what is causing mortality reversals in Eastern Europe? So why are mortality rates increasing in Eastern Europe in these last decades? So some possible factors include lack of preventative health programs, inadequate quality of medical services, smoking and alcohol abuse, with the percentage use of consumption of smoke, of cigarettes and all sorts of cigars and so on, and also alcoholic beverage, the percentages are high in East European countries. And maybe another factor is a general neglect of individual health. And these factors are mainly caused by a lack of life choices under the former communist regimes that these countries experienced until the 1980s, until the late 80s, or even early 90s. And also maybe because of unemployment, relative deprivation, and inability to cope with economic challenges of the capitalist regime. So these major factors, both related to the communist society in which these countries were under decades ago, and maybe because of factors associated with the capitalist society that the capitalist regime that they have right now. These major factors might have affect all these different other sets of variables here that then cause increases in mortality rates. And in sub-Saharan African countries, the AIDS epidemic has halted or reversed gains in life expectancy in many of these sub-Saharan African countries. So increases in AIDS and the AIDS epidemic might have caused increases in mortality rates and then declines in life expectancy. Another important discussion about mortality levels that's important for researchers to keep going, trying to keep understand for the next decades is the issue of degenerative diseases. So nowadays, degenerative diseases are the major causes of death in the developed world. And future improvements in the treatment of these diseases is likely. So we might see improvements in the treatment of these diseases. However, eliminating a specific degenerative disease would result in a small increase to life expectancy because these diseases, they happen to older individuals. So these individuals are already older, the ones benefiting the most for improvements in the treatment of these degenerative diseases are already older individuals, so overall improvements in life expectancy would be small. For example, eliminating heart disease would raise life expectancy in the US by 5 years, and eliminating cancer would raise it by 3 years. But another question that is important, it's not just whether life expectancy will increase, such as we talked at the beginning of this section here. An important question is by how much will life expectancy going to increase. And this exercise mentioned here in this previous slide, by eliminating heart disease and cancer, it's an important topic of research for us to understand not only whether life expectancy will increase, but how much. So these are all sets of questions that are important for the future, for researchers to keep understanding the future course of mortality. And here we finalize the subtopic on the chapter about mortality. Thank you very much.